Prince William has finally snapped. Enough is enough. He has told friends he will strip Meghan Markle of the HRH.
King Charles won't have to lift a finger to end Harry and Meghan's royal careers, because right now something unprecedented is brewing in London. The UK Parliament is preparing to do the unthinkable, strip them of their titles, and the most shocking part, they might not even need the King's permission. This is the story of how the couple who tried to outsmart the system just got checkmated by democracy itself.
I think it would happen. If Harry and Meghan are watching, they should be incredibly concerned, because if it's this simple to take away Prince Andrew's titles, one day it could be this easy to take away Harry and Meghan's titles.
This isn't just palace gossip anymore, it's constitutional vengeance. For years, lawmakers watched as Harry and Meghan treated royal duty like a Netflix plot twist. Dramatic when it sells, forgotten when it doesn't. They traded tiaras for talk shows and loyalty for production deals. Now, a growing faction of MPs is pushing a bill that could finally erase the very titles that keep the Sussex brand alive, arguing that if you trash the institution for profit, you don't deserve to be a part of it.
To exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. Let them go off and be, celebrities, that's fine. But don't do it in the name of our royal.
But this political uprising isn't happening in a vacuum. The real chess game is being played behind palace walls, and insiders whisper the quietest player is the most dangerous, Prince William. Forget the calm smiles. Sources claim the future king's patience snapped long ago. He's reportedly been building secret alliances with the very lawmakers pushing this bill, convinced that to save the monarchy he has to clean the slate and remove the distractions, even if that distraction is his own brother.
William has in the past fortnight seized control of the British monarchy from a weak and dying King Charles, and that spells very bad news for Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Archie and
For Meghan Markle, this is a full-blown brand crisis. Her entire global identity is built on one golden phrase, the Duchess of Sussex. It's not just a title, it's a billion-dollar trademark that sold her mystique to streaming giants and fashion houses. Insiders now describe panic meetings in Montecito as her team scrambles to figure out what's left when the royal gloss is stripped away, because Meghan from California just doesn't sell the same way.
Harry and Meghan right now should be very afraid, because it is a matter of when, not.
Meanwhile, Prince Harry is reportedly in a quiet panic. The man who claimed he wanted freedom is now facing the brutal reality of irrelevance without his royal rank. Insiders speak of desperate, late-night calls to old palace contacts trying to stop the unstoppable. For him, this isn't just about money or fame, it's about losing the last tangible link to his mother's legacy, and that's a punishment he reportedly finds unbearable.
News for Harry and Meghan here is that William can now take away everything, their titles, without an act of parliament.
But the consequences could become even more brutal, reaching the one place Harry and Meghan thought was safe, their children. This new legislation challenges the very foundation of royal lineage, and Archie and Lilibet could lose their prince and princess status before they're old enough to understand it. In a heartbreaking twist, Harry's decision to protect his family by leaving the UK might be the very act that erases their royal heritage forever.
HRH is only given to working royals, senior members of the royal family, because it denotes a level of respect in the public, and also it's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit, they do not use their names to make.
Caught in the crossfire is King Charles, a monarch tormented by an impossible choice. On one side is the crown he waited a lifetime to inherit. On the other, the son he walked behind at Diana's funeral. Palace sources describe a man breaking under the weight of it all. Punishing Harry makes him look like a cold-hearted king, but doing nothing makes him look weak, allowing Parliament to seize control of royal authority. It's a battle he simply cannot win.
Danger, honestly, take this lesson from what Fergie and Andrew have done over the past 3 decades and do not let history.
The final chapter of this royal rebellion is now being written not in a palace, but in Parliament. The titles Duke and Duchess of Sussex could soon become a historical footnote, but as their royal status crumbles, an even bigger scandal is exploding around Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. We've uncovered the shocking financial reality they tried to hide after being stripped of everything, and you can see that story by clicking the video on your screen right now.
William knows that it's not just Andrew and Sarah need to be dealt with. It's Harry, Meghan, Archie and Lily.
But to truly understand the mechanics of this political earthquake, you have to look at the bill itself. It's not some vague proposal. It has a name and a formidable champion. Tabled as the Titles Deprivation Act 2024, it's the brainchild of Sir Robert Finlay, a veteran conservative backbencher and staunch monarchist who sees this as his final patriotic duty. His legal argument is both brilliant and brutal. He's invoking a century-old precedent, the Titles Deprivation Act of 1917, which was used to strip German nobles of their British titles during World War I. Finlay's team is arguing that using a royal title to commercially attack the institution of the crown is a modern form of adhering to the king's enemies, a constitutional betrayal that warrants the same punishment. It's a legal masterstroke that reframes the debate from a family squabble into a matter of national security and institutional integrity.
You're beautiful, you married a prince, but that's literally all you've done to when it comes to your...
The battle lines are being drawn in the hallowed halls of Westminster, and the debate is reportedly becoming one of the most vitriolic in recent memory. An aide to a Labour MP described a recent session in a Commons committee room as nothing short of brutal. Sir Robert Finlay allegedly delivered a blistering speech, his voice echoing with indignation. A royal title is not a celebrity endorsement to be leveraged for streaming deals. He thundered, according to the aide, "It is a sacred trust, a covenant between the crown and the people, a trust that has been shattered, monetized, and sold to the highest bidder on a California soundstage." In response, younger, more progressive MPs have slammed the bill as a vindictive political stunt and a gross overreach designed to distract from the government's own failings. They argue it sets a dangerous precedent, allowing Parliament to meddle in royal affairs and punish individuals for exercising their right to free speech, turning a family drama into a constitutional crisis.
Found out at the same moment as the public, and his reaction was instant dread. His stomach dropped. He thought titles were untouchable. Now he's not so sure.
This political war is fueled by a starkly divided public, a tale of two continents. In the United Kingdom, the mood has hardened significantly against the Sussexes. A recent YouGov poll, commissioned specifically in light of the proposed bill, shows a staggering 68% of Britons support stripping the couple of their titles, viewing it as a just and necessary consequence for their actions. The British tabloids, sensing blood in the water, have launched a full-scale crusade, with daily headlines cheering on Sir Robert's bill. Meanwhile, across the pond, the narrative is completely different. Polling from outlets like The Hollywood Reporter shows a near-even split, with a slight majority of Americans viewing the parliamentary move as the stuffy, archaic British establishment punishing a modern biracial woman for speaking out against a racist and controlling system. It has become the ultimate transatlantic culture war, fought not with armies, but with hashtags and competing news cycles.
And Meghan take their audience for fools. They blame everybody but themselves. They present even the most incendiary of claims with no evidence. And sadly, the impact is real. The royal family is getting damaged. The monarchy is getting tarnished.
Behind the scenes, Prince William's strategy is reportedly far more sophisticated than simple revenge. Sources close to the Prince of Wales's office claim his motivation is laser-focused on one thing: securing the monarchy's future for Prince George. He sees the Sussex issue as a fatal ambiguity, a competing brand that dilutes the main product. He's been making the case in private that you cannot have a junior branch of the family operating as a commercialized quasi-royal entity in another country, a former courtier revealed. It creates a constitutional gray area that is simply unsustainable. William has allegedly held a series of discreet lunches at his Anmer Hall estate with key members of the Privy Council and influential lords, carefully laying the groundwork. His argument is cold and clinical. This is not a personal attack on Harry, but a constitutional necessity to remove a cancerous ambiguity before it metastasizes and threatens the health of the entire institution his son will one day inherit.
Royalty changes forever.
Queen's husband was dying, and she went on Oprah and suggested one or both of them are raging racists. She couldn't have cared less. She doesn't care about anyone other than herself.
This isn't just a bill, it's a...
The financial fallout for brand Sussex could be catastrophic, an extinction-level event for their commercial empire. Brand valuation experts from Forbes have estimated that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles carry an intrinsic brand value of over $500 million, acting as the golden key that unlocks every major deal. Without it, their earning potential plummets. A senior executive at a rival streaming service commented anonymously, "Netflix didn't pay $100 million for a producer and an ex-actress. They paid for a sitting Duke and Duchess spilling royal secrets. Once those titles are officially gone, you can bet their lawyers will be looking at the reevaluation clauses in that contract. This extends to their entire operation. The Archewell Foundation, which already saw a dramatic drop in public donations in its last tax filing, would likely face a complete collapse in funding. Without the royal seal of approval, major philanthropists and corporate sponsors are expected to vanish, turning their Hollywood passion projects into a financial black hole.
This historic decision by William, and listen to me, it was by William, not Charles, to strip Andrew of his princely titles and all vestiges of royal.
Perhaps the most tragic dimension of this crisis is the profound and permanent impact on Archie and Lilibet. The consequences go far beyond simply losing the prince and princess styling they technically received upon Charles's accession. This parliamentary act would legally and formally sever their primary connection to the British royal family, placing them in a painful and confusing limbo. More critically, it obliterates any future claim they might have to state-funded security when visiting the UK, effectively making trips to their father's homeland a permanent security risk. In his desperate bid for freedom, Harry has inadvertently placed his children in a gilded cage of his own making, American by birth, but with a ghost of a royal heritage that has been publicly and humiliatingly revoked by the state. The very act of protecting them by leaving has resulted in the potential erasure of 1,000 years of their ancestry. The shockwaves are also being felt across the Commonwealth, where this internal family drama is providing ammunition for Republican movements. Leaders in nations like Australia and Jamaica, who are already pushing to remove the king as their head of state, are reportedly watching with glee. For them, this public political stripping of titles is the ultimate proof that the monarchy is an outdated, dysfunctional institution, hopelessly entangled in personal squabbles. A Jamaican government official was quoted in The Gleaner as saying, "It shows the world that this is about family politics, not governance. It strengthens our case for full sovereignty." Conversely, staunchly loyalist realms like Canada are now in an incredibly awkward position. A parliamentary act in London raises a thorny diplomatic question. Does it automatically apply in Ottawa? It's a constitutional and diplomatic nightmare that threatens to weaken the king's authority across the globe long before his reign has even truly begun. In the brutal social hierarchy of Hollywood, this move would be a devastating demotion. The Sussexes were initially the ultimate A-list prize because they offered a unique, intoxicating blend of royal mystique and celebrity glamour. They weren't just famous, they were historically significant. Stripping their titles fundamentally changes their status. A top talent agent in Los Angeles explained the calculus. Hollywood runs on power and relevance. They were fascinating because they were royal rebels. If they're just ex-royals who got fired by the government, they're essentially just very high-profile influencers. The dinner party invitations from the real power players, the studio heads, the tech billionaires start to dry up. They risk being recategorized from global royalty to local reality TV stars, a novelty act whose time has passed. The very thing that made them special in America would be the thing that was taken away by Britain. But while the press paints King Charles as a tormented father, paralyzed by indecision, a contradictory and far more cynical theory is emerging from within palace walls. A source close to the king's private office suggests that Charles' public image of anguish is a carefully crafted piece of public relations. According to this insider, the king, while personally saddened, has given his tacit, off-the-record approval for Parliament to proceed with the bill. By allowing elected officials to do the dirty work, he achieves the necessary outcome for the crown's long-term stability while publicly maintaining the posture of a loving, heartbroken father. He absolves himself of the cruel king label and avoids a direct confrontation with his son. It's a move directly from the Queen Elizabeth II playbook: maintain plausible deniability and let the politicians take the heat for difficult but essential family decisions. It's the cold, hard calculus of a monarch putting the institution before all else. Faced with this existential threat, Prince Harry is reportedly scrambling to launch a counteroffensive. The desperate late-night calls are not just to old friends, but to powerful legal and PR teams in both London and Washington, D.C. Insiders claim he is preparing a multi-pronged strategy. First, he's allegedly been reaching out to his Spencer family relatives, his mother's side, attempting to rally support and frame this, not as an attack on him and Meghan, but as a vindictive attempt by the establishment to erase Diana's legacy through her son. Second, he is reportedly exploring a long-shot legal challenge based on the argument that his dukedom was a personal wedding gift from the late Queen Elizabeth II, and as such cannot be revoked by an act of parliament without the express public consent of the reigning monarch. Consent he believes Charles would never give on record. It would be a final desperate roll of the dice, a move that would pit him in open court against the British state and the crown he once served.